Say your prayers. The platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, a seamless driver change, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you back on this Thursday night. It is the 23rd of April, 2026. We are live across Facebook and YouTube. We are at the virtual Long Beach Street Circuit in California right now, the home of the Grand Prix of Long Beach, of course, which was run in the real world IndyCar and IMSA style over the course of last weekend. Now it's our turn to go racing here on the platforms of the GSRC. Street racing. There's plenty of street racing coming up across the board on a Wednesday and a Thursday night this term, and this is just the first of those stops, which we're very excited about. When we have a look at the rest of the schedule, I mean, we've also got the Nordschleifer in here. This is one of the more difficult calendars we've ever assembled for a Porsche series. Spa's in there, Zandvoort's in there. Then there's back-to-back street circuits with Adelaide and St. Petersburg. And then, of course, we go down to Sandown Motor Raceway in Victoria, which always delivers the fireworks. I'm Zach Cabin. Andrew Neal's now here alongside me. Half-time in the AFL and the NRL. 14-10, Canberra leading the Tigers in the NRL at the moment. And, of course, the Swans have the upper hand on the Bulldogs in the AFL, currently by a margin of 13 points, 52 plays, 39. The Long Beach Street Circuit, we've got 2 minutes before they're lining up on the grid for Heat 1 here. And there will be another intermission because they've thrown Andrew Neal in the deep end and they said, here's your first live sprint racing broadcast. Have fun with it, but you've got 5 minutes in which to switch over from the Open to the Elite Split. Adam Lavis makes it look ultimately seamless, and now Andrew Neal's under the pump to see if he can do the same. So we're looking forward to that. Good evening to you, mate. I'm happy to be in the booth rather than out there because it's a concrete jungle and it's bound to claim a victim or two.
Absolutely, what a track. Nice tight racing and especially good in these Porsche Cup cars.
Now, I was told by Greg Heaney to not ask you about your cameo appearance at Imola in the GEC last Friday night.
Of course he would say that. I having a bit of a barrier of a race. I was in the GTP, went up the inside of the GTE leader and managed to clip the rear brakes, tail whip the leader, and I put him a few positions back. Unfortunately, there was a few expletives apparently from him, and got back in the lead, which was good. Lost it to him by the end of it.
And the reason I mention that is because it's partly my fault that you're out there in the first place. Because Mum rings me and says, "Look, I need you to do me a favour. I need you to be my +1 for this bloody James Rain concert I'm going to." So I've ended up at Bar on the Hill in Newcastle on the Friday night. Offered Yeoman to you, and then Yeoman's buses and trains have run late and whatever else. So it must have been really frustrating for you sitting there watching the replay on Sunday afternoon whilst also broadcasting it for our wonderful audience. But we'll get back to that a little bit later on. Let's have a look. The Long Beach Circuit, 3.14 kilometres. Tight, technical, tricky, and of course overtaking comes at a premium, which is why we've sent these blokes sprint racing tonight for 27 minutes in the feature and 16 minutes now. So 16 and 27 the distance of the two races tonight. I reckon there'll be a lap count to them if I know Adam Lavis well enough. I think it's 12 and 19. So it'll be interesting to see who does what here over the course of the two-race program tonight. We are bringing you the Open split for race 1, the Elite split for race 2, invert top 10 for race 2, plus a compulsory pit stop as well. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Our usual racing rules here on the platforms of the GSRC. Now, Porsche Cup point standings in the Open split, much more fruitful than the Elite split, but Jordan Dakin on 103 points leads Paul Wood 95 and Sean Benici and Adam Lavis 93 points apiece through the first round of the season. Then David Baz, Joel Janssens, Eduardo Zamora, Paul Wilson, Joel and Hanson and Lachlan Pryke, the top 10. The grid for the opening heat of the night sees Adam Lavis with his first pole position of the season, and that's a very good result for him. Alongside his Aussie Races teammate Paul Wood, there's a Kodak moment photo opportunity for the boys. Joel Jansen's Dane Snadden, second row. Sean Benici, Cameron Dakin, third row. Nathan Harvey and Jordan Dakin, fourth row. Then we go back to Paul Wilson, Brett Bradbury, fifth row. Rick Cowling, Fitzgerald and Luke Wegener, the sixth row. Kurt Normanson and Alan McDonald, the seventh. Then Lee Peckham, David Baz, Daniel Correa-Sar out on the grid. Good to see. Stephen Gallacher, Barry Panzer, Justin Cahir, Shane Beaumont, Joel and Hanson, Edward Rollo. Then James Denton, Eduardo Zamora, Tristan Koch and Jake Cowman, with Steve Harvey making up the 27-car field. Actually, no, Kelly McLaren's out there as well. Chapo's obviously started in the wrong server and sent himself over to the elite split. And Trav Azzopardi resides in race control. So McLaren starts on the outside of row 15. Have a look at them. 28 cars lining up, getting ready to rock and roll. 16 minutes the journey. Race 1 or 2 for the night. GSRC Porsche Cup across Facebook and YouTube. A Thursday night exclusive. Let's go. Race 2 or 16 for the season. Beautiful start, Adam Lavis. Here on the inside comes Joel Janssens with a big run down the inside. He's got by Paul Wood. No, Woods is going to go deep around the outside of one and gather it up nicely. Jansen's now under pressure on the defensive from Snadden. Dakin goes through and Benici. A little bit of moving and shaking further back, but pretty well cleanly through that opening sequence of corners. It's always an uncertain part of the night whether or not we can get through turns 1 and particularly the water fountain 2 and 3 without getting log jammed and checked up. We've done it tonight. Good to see. James Denton a non-starter by the looks of all of this. So we've got 2 drivers showing in 24th position for some unknown bloody reason. But I can assure you we've only got 28 out there, ladies and gentlemen. David Baz off the road drops down to 27th. And Rick Cowling Fitzgerald's lost 17 spots on the opening lap as well, down to 28. So a fair bit of drama for those two, but everybody else safely away. 5 positions gained so far for Joel and Hanson. 9 for Kelly McLaren. McLaren on a charge early up to 21st. An opening lap has come and gone just like that. 1 minute 25, 26, 27. Away we go. Wood, Jansen, Snadden, Dakin, then Benici, Wilson and Dakin. The top 8. We bring you the elite split once we're done here. Paul Wood running defence for his teammate at the moment. And these two would be happy with this, I would imagine, Neely, because when you look at Paul Wood last week, he finished second, so that would be consistency for him. Adam Lavis finished 4th, so that would be improvement for him. But really, think team bragging rights in the long game. Think the fact that it's a 16-race season. Oh, no! I spoke too soon! Lavis clouts the wall! Oh! Janssens! 2 for the price of 1, down the outside to 9. Squeeze job on Wood, who holds on through the inside. Everybody gets checked up. Dane Snadden wants a piece of it. So too Jordan Dakin. Just when we thought we knew which way the narrative was going to play out. And Adam Lavis has a mechanical meatball next to his name, and that rubs him right out of contention. But it presents his teammate with a wonderful opportunity to step up to the plate and grab his first win of the campaign. Disappointment for Adam, and it makes for a long road back to recovery in race 2. Because that'll crucify him here, Andrew. It's a very long pit lane on the streets of Long Beach, and it's a very slow transit as well.
Absolutely. Very unlucky there for Adam coming around the corner. Cold tyres, just misjudged the apex and collected the tyres on the way through.
Unbelievable.
He hasn't been the only one, though. I've never seen a Christmas tree with so many red lights from the start. So lots of crashes to go back and have a look at through the race.
And Justin Cahir also with the mechanical meatball next to his name as well. Lewis is right. Kelly McLaren, what a start. What a start from Kelly. Now, remember, we told you the story last year with regards, last term, I think. We were trying to work out whether it was Kelly Boy or Kelly Girl. It was Kelly Boy. The reason for that, family were a bunch of surfing fans, and it was right in the Kelly Slater era. So if you're going to have a namesake, it may as well be a sporting legend. I'm all for it. How good. We love those little stories. Adam Lavis still pushing on with that mechanical meatball flag. Will no doubt be very, very disappointed, despondent with what's transpired so far. Jansen's a great start. But Nietzsche and Wilson, I was going to say, there was no point in the teammates squabbling for position if they defend for each other and drive their own race. 1-2 looks good for the team, looks good for their championship. They can share the fifth row and work their way through together. They're not going to have that luxury now. Paul Wood is not going to have somebody to assist him here at the front of the field. He's going to have to do it all on his own to defend Joel Jansen's. Can you believe this? So Adam Lavis sits third. Benici is fourth. Paul Wilson now sits up into fifth spot. Now, if you want drama, you've come to the right place, ladies and gentlemen. Although, that being said, many of you would have had a chance to watch Home and Away before you joined us, so you've already had your first serving of drama for the night. Dayton Formula V, now us. I'm interested as well, Andrew Neil, if you're seeing the same sort of data and information as I am, because obviously I'm now not talking about anything that's probably up on the broadcast screen or on our Discord screen, but I'm wondering if you're seeing the same thing as I am on the left-hand side here, where it says broadcast. It's now giving us a memo on who's left the house. So it tells us that you and I are both in the house, and Matt Schmidtke was here, and Lachlan Purvis was here, and Braden Sagassa was here. Discord updates that seem rather unnecessary, quite frankly. Because if they were here, we enjoyed their company when they were. We don't need to be reminded of it because, well, if they're not here now, we can't actually talk to them.
I actually can't see where you're talking about, Zach.
I'm going to take a screenshot of it and send it to you after the fact. I will take a screenshot as we go. And who said men couldn't multitask? Righto. Push on. That'll be my job during the intermission, is to crop that down. And send it across. Because at the moment, when I say screenshot, it screenshots 3 screens into one image. So it has the Porsche points table on the left, the live timing on the right, and the Discord screen smack bang in the middle. Oh dear, how good. Great to have you along. It is Thursday night motorsport, it's unhinged. There's a slowdown for Jordan Dakin. Adam Lavis still has his mechanical black flag to serve. He's doing that now. Fast repair for Adam Lavis, and it'll be interesting to see where he rejoins in the grand scheme of things. If he can get out somewhere around Shane Beaumont, Eduardo Zamora, it won't be too bad, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot lower than that. Down to turn 1. Lap 6 of 12, almost half race distance. I said it would be 12. Jeez. On the money. You beauty. 1 minute 20 about that fastest lap time for Joel Jansen so far. So 1 minute 20 and 2 is 2:40 and 1 is 4 minutes. 4, 8, 12, 16. 4 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 12 laps, 16 minutes. Done. Bang! That was a big one for Brett Bradbury. And an unlucky one as well. Back live now with Paul Wood. Agreed, Eli Donaldson. Good to have you tuning in. You were right, Lewis. P3 did have a mechanical meatball flag. The compulsory pit stop for the night is in the second heat, not the first, so that'll be the next race. But unfortunately, all those guys that have stopped so far have either had to come in because of indiscretions or incidents and have had to grab a fast repair and get back out there. And that's the problem. That's what really hurts you. It's a self-imposed invoice when you incur one of those unscheduled pit stops in the opening heat. Makes a rod for your own back, and you're just playing catch-up for the rest of the night, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you have to go in, if there's no CPS, then you're going to struggle to get back up in the places that...
Paul Wood, controlling this race nicely at the front, not without pressure from Joel Jansen. We pick up the battle for third, featuring Sean Benici, Paul Wilson and Cameron Dakin. 1:19.840 for Dane Snowden, the fastest lap of the race so far, despite the fact that he's lost 5 spots along the way here. I think he bowled it wide at turn 1 a few moments ago, or a few laps ago, and has been playing catch-up ever since. Alan McDonald is 10th. Then you go back to Curtin Nommensen, then Stephen Gallacher, Joel Hansen, Daniel Correa-Sarr and Shane Beaumont, Kelly McLaren in 16th. That is an enormous run from Kelly. It's actually technically up only 12 spots because, as I said earlier, there was a discrepancy in the grid distribution there where technically McLaren has started. Whoa, bottleneck, check up. Here we go. Yep, trouble. Oh, God. They've done well to avoid that.
That was coming back to opening lap there where there was quite a bit of carnage.
Yeah, and obviously Justin Cahir and Brett Bradbury still paying the price for that one, among others. But yes, it is plus 12. Barry Punter's picked up the latest of the mechanical meatballs for the night. I think that's 3 in this race alone. Geez, they were flying fast and freely last night at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium for the second round of the Porsche Pro Invitational. Never seen so many mechanical meatballs issued during a race. Eduardo Zamora's just dropped down. Adam Lavis has dropped up into 17th position, returning to the racetrack behind Kelly McLaren. But yes, Sam Chapman and Travis Azzopardi in the server. Chapo unnecessarily. He has seen himself out to the elite split. He wasn't. He joined the wrong server. But he was listed as 28th on the grid. Trav Azzopardi was listed as 29th on the grid. And Trav is actually in race control. So don't worry too much about that. That, unfortunately, because of the way iRacing works, Kelly ended up starting 30th, but should have been 28th. And on reflection, when we go and have a look at the run sheet, will be 28th. And 28th to 16th is not a bad run. However, I doubt the bonus points are coming Kelly's way, only because, and there's Edward Rollo in trouble, only because if he started down in, if Kelly started down in 30th, that means Kelly didn't set a time, because obviously Chapo and Trav didn't either. And you have to set a time in qualifying as per the rule book if you are to be eligible for those bonus points for most positions gained. So that's the only stipulation there that will deny Kelly the couple of bonus points, but still impressive and clean run all the same, and sets him up nicely for race 2 for the Yokozuki Works team. Righto, here's Luke Wegener under pressure from Alan McDonald. Kurt Nommensen's now holding the invert. Now, why is that? Because Dane Snadden's dropped to 12th place. Now, why has Snadden dropped out of the top 12? I'm sure we'll see in just a moment. But have a look at the top 10, folks. It's an interesting read. Aussie Races, Whiskey Business Racing, Riot Sim Racing. 3 different teams in the top 3. Then 3 Northwind entries, 2 555 entries. Alan McDonald running as a privateer, and the first of the AITX entries. Revolution E-Racing, Kurt Nommensen sits 10th. Second half underway in the AFL. Second half already underway in the NRL. Tigers scoring first there, 14 all kick to come. They're up against Canberra. Swan still leading by 13 points, 7-10 plays 6-3. 3 minutes to go. 2 laps to go at the line. Jordan Dakin off the road loses out to Kurt Nommensen and Alan McDonald and Luke Wegener. And now Stephen Gallacher as well. And that's how Dane Snadden came undone at turn 1. Now we've got to find where Jordan Dakin's tripped up. I dare say it's probably around the same part of the racetrack, is it? Dakin's now dropped down significantly into 11th, and Jolan. I didn't notice that. Jolan Hansen has also tripped up. So whilst we've been looking at all the other battles, that's completely slipped me that Jolan Hansen's out of business. Have a look at, so this is Jordan Dakin. Curb. Missed his teammate. That's not bad. But that's why Jordan's now showing down the order outside the top 10, outside the invert. Invert top pole at the moment belongs to Stephen Gallacher for Entropy Simsport. And Paul Wood leads with a lap and a half to go. Sean Benici for Whiskey Business on the streets of Long Beach. The boy from Alaska. Very nice. Tristan Kosh served
Ooh,
up. Whoa!
that was big.
And Lee Peckham and Eduardo Zamora's incident from earlier in the race is under investigation from race control as well. So still none the wiser as to why Joel and Hansen went from second on the track. Did he try and make a move on Paul Wood? Did he trip up in the process? Not sure. But Sean Benici inherits second as a result. The margin is 1.5 seconds. There it is on your screen. Paul Wood down to the stadium section. The horseshoe. Massive crowd on hand on the streets of California. And Paul Wood is going to see the white flag, 1 to go.
Joel Jansen had a crash in the log.
There we go.
Lost him a couple of positions there. Oh, he had to pit.
No. Well, I was going to say he's lost more than a couple of positions. Jeez. So he's lost out to Benici, Wilson, and Dakin. Oh, yes. So no, good pickup. I'm getting my Joel and Hansen and my Joel Jansen mixed up. You can understand why I've done that. But yes, so Jansen has lost out 3 spots, technically, and it would have been 4 spots if Adam Lavis was still on the racetrack. So yeah, it's an interesting one. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, thanks, Lockie. You picked it up just after I did, mate. Thank you. Last lap. Sorry, there's a lot going on tonight, folks. I'm trying to stay across it. So if we get a chance, Andrew, we might go and have a look at that incident for Joel Jansen's.
Which one? Because he just had another one.
Oh, okay, right. So because obviously he's fallen down to 5th spot, but obviously not as detrimental as what I thought it was going to be. Paul Wood to victory lane on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. He's got a broadcast win to his name in 2026. Woodsy wins at Long Beach in Heat 1 of Round 2 of the Porsche Cup. Oh, magnificent stuff on a Thursday night. Heat 1 goes to Paul Wood, ahead of Sean Benici, Paul Wilson, Cameron Dakin, then Joel Jansen's. Yes, my apologies. I was getting too excited. It's very confusing, more so to the point that there's Joel and there's the Anson, and they're both for Northwind, so apologies for that. Oh, that's my defence, and I'm sticking to it. Jesus. Nathan Harvey in for 6, Luke Wegener, Alan McDonald, Kurt Nommensen, and Stephen Gallacher, the top 10. But yes, if we are able to go and have a look at those incidents, we absolutely should. And a very good race in the end. A very good win for Paul Wood. Comfortable 1.41 seconds to Sean Benici, Paul Wilson, and Cameron Dakin. The first of the Northwind entries. So this was what I was interested in, because he was trying to find a way by Paul Wood. Yep, okay. Yep. Too deep. Bowled it too deep into the corner. Commitment plus required to make it stick. Credit to him for going for it. You know, little bit of no guns, no glory. But unfortunately, in this particular instance, that was the little leg up that Paul Wood needed to go on and convert into a race victory, and he did so in the end by 1.4 seconds. And that, of course, also benefited Benici, Wilson, and Dakin. Jensen's good recovery for 5th. Harvey from the comments section earlier, whilst we were broadcasting Formula V, into 6th spot. Luke Wegener, Alan McDonald, Kurt Nommensen, and Stephen Gallacher, the top 10. Joel and Hansen, 11th. Very nicely done. I hope you enjoyed that. Results from race 2 a little later. We'll take a break. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Thursday Night Motorsport, live, exclusive, and free. These guys are about to grid up for Heat 2, but we're taking you over to the Pro Server now, the Elite Split. Heat 1 action is just wrapping up. There we'll have the results on the other side. Then all the action live, exclusive and free, of the 27-minute feature race of the evening over 19 laps. Stay with us. A big night. AFL, NRL action, the IPL a little bit later on, and, of course, live, exclusive and free, the Thursday Night Motorsport action for night 4 of week 2 of term 2 for 2026 across Facebook and YouTube on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Stay with us. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for you across Facebook and YouTube. You can leave that screen there, Nearly, if you want. The results, we need those from Heat 1 of Round 2 of the season. Great to have you along for the ride wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. And Shane Clancy drawing first blood here in the second round of the Elite Series. So we're 4 races into the program. This is now number 5. And this is the longest one of the night, 27 minutes, including a compulsory splash and dash, 19 laps or 27 minutes, whichever comes first. Same lay of the land, same real estate as what we had before. The point standings coming into this round, based on the results from last week, of course, we had a magnificent win for Luke Alavoine in Mexico City. He got the better of it ahead of Sam Chapman. 103 plays 97 and 95 for Craig Bond. Then Paul Rogers, 89, 83 Luke King, and 81 for Willie Blair made up the top 6. Bondy was good last week. I really enjoyed what he brought to the table there. He won't have it all his own way tonight. The results from race 1, of course, we'll take the top 10 and invert them for race 2. And we'll show you that grid in just a moment because everybody's lining up now. 5:30 local server time, 8 km/h winds in a southerly direction, 23 degrees the ambient, 27 on track, partly cloudy conditions, and 51% humidity. Jason Wilkinson, Ben Snell, front row. We'll have to catch up with Snelly tonight. We didn't get a chance to last week. He got out of here too quick. Jonathan Harris, Luke Alavoine, Sam Chapman, Jaden Draper, Paul Rogers, Cooper Friend, Eric Fenson, and Shane Clancy, the top 10. So Clancy from Fenson and Friend, the top 3 in the previous race. Brooker, Akers, Bond, Blair, King, that's Richard, then Luke, Dave Oliver, Jeff Adams, Kev Colwell make up the field. The 19 of them ready to fire. Heat 2, round 2, Porsche Cup, turn 2, platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Beautiful getaway from Jason Wilkinson. Snell wants to go with him down the outside on the run down towards turn 1. Who's the bravest down here? Who's the silliest that's contact into the wall? Hold your breath. No, trouble. Paul Rogers is involved, and Willie Blair, and Luke Brooker, and Jonathan Harris, and Luke King. And that has resulted in a massive divide in the field. Bondi's up 4 spots. Wilkinson leads Snell. Trouble further back. Eric Fenson's got up 5 spots. Cooper Friend up 1. Shane Clancy up 1. Bondi's up 5 spots. Jonathan Harris, Luke King on the tow rope. And Dave Oliver, along with Paul Rogers and Luke Brooker, limping away from the scene of the crime. As soon as you saw, I didn't catch the red job of who it was that cluttered the wall on the inside there on the run to turn 1, the braking zone. But as soon as I saw that, Nearly, I thought we might be in some trouble.
Always a lot of action on lap 1 here at Long Beach.
Absolutely. Down the main straight we go. That's a great start from Jason Wilkinson. So there's 2 points of interest here, right? So obviously Luke King's out of business. He's retired. Jonathan Harris remains on the tow rope. I dare say he's done for the night as well. The best he can hope for is probably 18th, unless he benefits from somebody else riding the concrete hard. And he's got a mechanical meatball to his flag to his name as well. So he's doubly done there, royally screwed, as they say. How far can Paul Rogers and Luke Brooker recover after being caught up in that incident? And also, who is going to pit early to get out of the traffic? Who's going to try the reverse strat? How early can you stop and get home? Usually I'd say around lap 4 or lap 5, no earlier around here. Remembering that 4 laps only gets you to the 5 minute and 20 second market, so it'd be another 22 minutes worth of racing that you've got to encounter from that point. And furthermore, there's another real factor to take into consideration here, Nearly, and that is, as we see everybody check up again at the final corner of the hairpin, that 180-degree concrete square apex hairpin. There's nothing curved about that. As Wilkinson leads Snell down the main straight, and Chapman is 3rd and Alavoine is 4th. So the 3 protagonists from last week remain prominent this week. The other consideration here too, mate, is if you sell yourself down the river and go to the early stuff, you give yourself nothing to fall back on if you run into trouble later in the piece. If you sustain damage or a mechanical black flag or get caught up in somebody else's incident or make a mistake, you give yourself no wriggle room. So I think for some of the guys towards the pointy end, the plan will be to play the long game.
Absolutely. Patience is always key. It's always nice to get past, but sometimes it's easier just to tuck in, let others make mistakes and put a bit of pressure on the others.
Well, patience, I've got none of it. Wilkinson defends Snell to the inside. Chapman is right there as well. Have a look at this. The fight for the lead is on the streets of Long Beach. Snell to the inside of Chapman. Chapman to the outside down the turn 9. And here comes Luke Alavoine as well. Chapman almost in no man's land. Alavoine looks to push him through. Round the outside, onto the main straight, the switchback, the crisscross. Chapman couldn't make it work. Wilkinson leads this one for Northwind at the moment. Oh boy, the gloves are off early here. The gloves are off early. In comes Cam Culverwell and Willie Blair. No reason to suggest why they would be pitting other than they believe they can get home from that point. The end of lap 3. So that would give them a 16-lap run. We'll go around the grounds for you in just a moment. Slow down for John Akers now. Across the backstretch we go. That'll help. Jason Wilkinson. I was wondering why my screen was so, like boxed, compressed. And then I realised I had an extra chat window box open that I didn't need open on this Discord screen. And away we go. Oh, no, hang on. Blinky billing on your end now. I was getting stream pause, stream go, stream pause. No, we're good. Excellent. There we go. I was almost going to have to revert to a radio call, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Wilkinson leads. Benny Snell is second. Sam Chapman is third, having cleared Luke Alavoine. Jaden Draper holds fifth. Craig Bond up to 6th. Cooper Friend is 7th. Bondy on a real tear at the moment. On a charge is the youngster from Gundagai. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. John Akers, black flag. John Akers, black flag. That's going to take him right out of business. Now, has that been applied as he's entered the pit lane? Is he coming too hot? Have iRacing slugged him with an invoice for an incorrect pit entry? Because it's only popped up as he's gone to the lane. McFriend, Fenson, Clancy and Akers. Let's watch Jono's pit time. And yeah, it's out beyond 10, 11 seconds. Bondi, no! Was trying to get down the inside of Draper. Locks it up and goes round. Now, Jaden Draper, Paul Rogers, Luke Brooker, Dave Oliver, all those incidents on lap 1 are going to be under investigation, but they are going to be post-race investigations. Oh, there you go, Neely. Everything's going to be provisional when we cross the line. Snelly to the lead, gets by Wilkinson. Welcomes Chapman and Alavoine back into the fight. Chapman around the outside for the run to the hairpin. Thank you. Oh, no. Contact on the exit. And that really unsettled Chapman. Had to get out of it. Oh, dear. 25.43 seconds for Cam Culverwell. John Akers, 47.92. And already a lap down on the pack. Wowee. Richard King, Jeff Adams to pit lane. A lot of these guys opting to pit early in this 19-lap affair. We're only on lap 6. It's extraordinary, isn't it? The intensity, the high-pressure stakes, the drama early in the piece. Snell has gone to the front. Wilkinson to second. Bonwell's trying to get by Draper. Now the invoice is 7 seconds. And he had the fastest lap of the race prior to that as well. 1:18.986. He was having a real good crack. He'll be disappointed with that spin, that rare mistake from him as far as this term's campaign is concerned. Faultless last week in Mexico, a great last lap showdown with Sam Chapman. Now, probably fighting for as high as 6th position, because you're not going to make 7 seconds back around here, Andrew.
If you get some clean air and you've got the other cars battling, you might get it back, but yeah, it's unlikely. It really is unlikely.
In comes Draper. Draper pits. The first of the lead pack to exit stage left. Rogers. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, there's the checkup. That's the second. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, he was able to pull it up for turn one, but there was a bit of contact on the exit, on the run up towards two, through the kink. That's poleaxed him. And Dave Oliver arrived late on scene, and no, D. Oliver. And then the 74 was also parked there. That was Jonathan Harris. Now, see, this is the thing. I get the feeling, so I don't know what Dave Oliver missed the start for in the first place, but then obviously he's run it wide at the end of turn one on another lap through. Here's Eric Fenson's incident. Straight on at the end of the straight. Did well to keep it off the wall. We might need to, at some point, Andrew, maybe after the race, not sure if we're going to get a chance to go back between now and then. Benny Snell's the lead is now 3 seconds. Alavoine, the sacrificial lamb in all of that, lights it up coming onto the main straight. Looking for a way back by Jason Wilkinson. Sam Chapman, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 18.327. Good way to respond after the incident the previous lap. Sydney Swans leading Western Bulldogs 10.15.75 to 7.4.46. Geez, if only they could kick accurately. My goodness. Oh, that's a good goal. That's a good goal. 11.15.81 plays 7.4.46 now. So the Swans out by 35 on a Thursday night at Marvel. The interesting thing in all of that, so obviously the Paul Rogers scraping of the wall going to turn one was not the chain reaction, the catalyst to that incident. The incident happened around the corner. Dave Oliver's involvement in that was interesting for mine, Neely, because obviously I reckon he would have been slugged for passing under yellows, quite frankly, when you look at the fact that he's driven through that incident. And then the second part of that is whether he's closed the door on the car that was limping away from the scene of the crime, whether that caught him off guard, whether he wasn't expecting that and thought he had clear air and has gone to take the traditional racing line. So it's all a bit messy, and good luck to Trav, rather him than me, trying to sort that one out.
That one is going to be a good one for the stewards to go through after the race and pull it all apart and work out where the penalties.
1:18.219. Sam Chapman's not going down without a fight here. He trails Benny Snell by 2.3 seconds. Snell also a PB that time through 0.488. Just bear with me, folks. I was just saying to Andrew Neil, I've got a little bit of an unsettled tummy and a little bit of a headache at the moment. It's been onset throughout the course of the evening. Maybe the headache was self-inflicted from Formula V, I don't know. That we'll work on just getting through to the end of the broadcast and then calling it a night. 9 of 19 here. Ben Snell, Sam Chapman, Luke Alavoine, then Jason Wilkinson, Paul Rogers, Luke Brooker, Jaden Draper, Cooper Friend, Richard King, Willie Blair. Biggest movers and shakers so far, +5 for Luke Brooker, +6 for Richard King, and +6 for Jeff Adams, +4 for Cam Culverwell. But there's so much discrepancy in all that because, well, Dave Oliver's parked up. He's done. John Akers is a lap down. Jonathan Harris remains on pit lane, has been for about 11.5 minutes. And the top 6 in this race are still yet to stop. Everyone down to Luke Brooker. Bondi stopped and came back out in 14th with a 12.95 second stop. So again, that's longer than he would have liked to have spent on the jacks, I'm sure. So maybe something's gone awry on the pit stop there to plague the boy from Gundaguy's progress, because he's now boxed in behind Clancy and Adams and Fence and Blair, King and Friend. Not ideal for him. Ben Snell, what a great return to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This has been from him, of course, was there or thereabouts last week, finished up 7th in the end. Had good pace, but no, not rewarded for it. in the grand scheme of things. But he'd love nothing more than to snag a win here. And if we do that, Andrew, if we see Benny Snell walk away with the win here, geez, that was tight. Eric Fenson. Ooh, Wooly Blair. Flirting with the track limits there, by which I mean I wouldn't have been surprised if he was scraping the wall through turn 2. Or turn 1 at least. And the kink at 2. Although that being said, you look at the way Americans do their corner numbering, and you've got to question some of it, let's be perfectly honest. But yes, if Benny Snell can hold on here and convert this, claim this victory, we'll have 3 different race winners to start the campaign in the Porsches in as many races. Travis has a party. Yeah, I'm with you, Trav. I don't envy you, mate. Cooper Friend in 8th spot at the moment. Through we go. Snell, Chapman, Alavoine, Wilkinson, Rogers, then Brooker, Draper, Friend, King and Blair. Top 6 yet to stop. We're past half race distance. We're on our way home. Snell is on lap 11. These guys have just started lap 11. Cooper Friend holding on to 8th. A long run through the pit lane here. Bonding's actually, credit to Bondi, he's catching. He's closing in on this battle pack. Watch the boy from Gundagai. There he is, back a shot. He can see these guys, and he's going to have... Whoa, jeez. Fenton and Blair, almost in the fence. He's going to have a shot here, Bondi, and I dare say there's going to be a fair bit of youthful exuberance about the way he goes about his racing over the next 7 or so laps. He'll leave nothing on the table here. He'll leave it all out there on the racetrack, and it'll be a case of, it'll be gloves off, elbows out, and if he can pull off a move cleanly, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets ahead of him, and he could yet salvage something out of this, despite it not going to plan on pit road. Great pace from Bondi. I just hope he hasn't sold himself short on fuel as a result of the extra fuel he would have had to have burnt in the last couple of laps that he's put in. He has now caught Shane Clancy. Clancy's under threat as they head to turn 1. Will Bondi dive deep? We'll wait to see. Have a look at Friend holding on to 8th. Bond is going to hold station for the moment. They're not going to catch Jaden Draper. So the best Bondi can hope for is 8th, but I tell you what, Friend, King, Fenson, they're not going to go down without a fight. Nora, Blair, Adams and Clancy! That won't help. There was definitely some door rubbing there. Sam Chapman to pit lane. Fastest lap of the race to pit lane. 1:18.219. The fastest lap of this second heat so far. It's aggressive. I like it. Sprint racing brings out the best of them. Here's Cooper Friend back into view now. Our view slightly obstructed by the pit wall. Look at this! Look at this! Fencer down the inside of Friend! They're almost exchanging phone numbers. Down the inside goes Willie Blair on Richard King. Bondi's boxed in behind King and Clancy and Adams. We've got 7 to go at Long Beach. One incident here changes everything. One incident changes everything. And all these guys will be aware of that. They need to keep it clean. They need to avoid incidents. You'll be punished. You'll lose a lot of track time, a lot of championship points. If you're getting caught up in an incident here, you don't want a penalty either. Clancy's next target is King. But they're 1.3 seconds off that battle pack at the moment. Adams has got by Clancy. That'll help. Adams has been released. They're side by side. Bondi up. Whoa, 3 wide. That way then well. Whoa, Cooper Friend and Eric Fenton in the wall. My goodness. Fenton's written off. He's done. Bit of damage for sure. And now Bondi's down on the inside of Jeff Adams. Bondi goes through. And then loses it. All in the same corner. Oh, my goodness. What on earth was going on there? For starters, Clancy, Adams and Bond 3 wide. That was ridiculous. That was insane. And then, on top of that, Bondi's bowled it 2 wide into turn 9. Just been able to gather it up. And they'll have to reset and have another crack at Jeff Adams. These guys are on the edge right now, Andrew.
What great racing. Door banging, concrete smashing. Fantastic.
It's the sort of night where you're very happy we're in the virtual world, quite frankly. From a personal injury and a car damage standpoint, I'd say.
No rebuilding, just a restart.
That's it. We just reset and go again. Oh, dear. And we were saying exactly the same thing 24 hours ago in the Porsche Pro Invitational too. A couple of very nasty shunts there at the Spa circuit. My goodness. So, across the start-finish line we go again. Ben Snell remains the leader by 3.96 seconds to Luke Alavoine, Jason Wilkinson, Paul Rogers, Luke Brooker. These guys are leaving it as late as they possibly can to dive for the lane. Chapman's only 33 seconds down the road from Snelly. What can he do? Trying to track him down. Willie Blair is under pressure still from Cooper Friend, Richard King, Shane Clancy, Jeff Adams, Craig Bond. That is a six car fight, I should say. Friend's just lost a little bit of ground there, so that could be all that Willie Blair needs as far as the leg up's concerned. He's 1.5 to the good on those guys right now. An inch is as good as a mile when it's that tightly contested. That 6-car battle pack could well soon be a 5, and it could well be one that's only fighting for positions 9 through 13. The one that got away potentially for Bondi here after that spin earlier, and a lot longer than what was required on pit lane. Look at Chapo, 4.48. Rogers and Brooker hit the jacks right now, and they're out in 5 and 5.1 and 5.3 seconds respectively. Ben Snell, masterclass from him. Luke Alavoine, Jason Wilkinson, we're watching him at the moment. 118.219 remains the fastest lap of the race for Sam Chapman. Round the grounds for you. Swannies, 8 seconds to go in the third quarter. 12:15.87 plays the Western Bulldogs. 8:5.53. Whoa, that was tight. That was tight. Here goes Bondi, trying for 10th. Trying to get by Jeff Adams. And 26-14, the Tigers lead the Raiders, 26-14, with 8.5 to go. So it could be another victory going the way of the West Tigers. Bondi to the outside. This is for 10th, remember. Adams is making him work for it, making him go the long way round and covering off the defensive line for the inside at 8. Bond will try and set it up down the back straight, but he's too far back. Snell, Alavoine, Wilkinson, all in and out of the lane. And Chapo's right there now with Snelly. Chapo is going to push Snelly all the way to the line. Chapman's gone to the front. Chapman has gone to the front. 3 laps to go. Chapman and Snell are going to argue it out on the racetrack. They're going to duke it out for victory. Wowee. Chapman, the undercut, has worked again. Are you kidding me? What is it about this bloke and the fuel game? He's just in a league of his own at the moment. Unbelievable. Might not yet be where he wants to be as far as the Formula V point score is concerned. But he's right in contention here in the Porsche Cup. Sixth in race 1. And looking the goods for the win in heat 2. Snelly was 9th in race 1, so a good recovery for second for him in race 2. That'll be Chapman's night on those points, you would imagine. The story that we've got to pick apart lies further back here with King and Oliver out of business, and Harris may as well be. He's 9 laps down. He's not going to be classified. And Eric Fenson 5 laps down, not going to be classified either. He parked up after that incident earlier with Cooper Friend it was. Good luck race control. Picking apart all the incidents of the night and adjudicating on them accordingly. Chapman is going to get one hell of a hurry up here to the finish from Benny Snell. They have put daylight between themselves and the rest of the pack. Last week's winner, Luke Alavoine, who was 7th in race 1, has got himself back into position number 3 here. And we're on the run home. +1 for Alavoine, +2 for Draper. So +1 means 4th, which is 7th, yeah. As long as there's been no cock-up with the SDK live timing here, folks, we're good. As am I using that word on air after 7:30 Western Standard Time. White flag flies, 1 to go on the streets of Long Beach. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Can Chapman hold on? Can Snelly find something? We are going to beat the clock back. We're going to finish ahead of time. I say it all the time. We can easily get an extra lap in here, but we don't want to be too greedy, do we? It's been a great night of racing. We haven't been disappointed by anything these guys have dished up in any of the 3 servers that we've been delighted to broadcast to you. Formula V always delivers the goods. The Porsches never disappoint, especially when it's a good track and car combination. Yes, we've had a couple of shunts. Yes, we've got a little bit of uncertainty over the leaderboard. The results will be provisional, but it is what it is. And Chapman's going to lead us home. Ben Snell in for second. Luke Alavoine, Jaden Draper and Jason Wilkinson, the top 5. And Willie Blair, Paul Rogers and Cooper Friend. But Sam Chapman, I'll be interested to get his thoughts on last night's Porsche experience as well when he joins us for a chat here in a few moments. And the V's as well. A lot to discuss with this bloke as he runs it out of the final corner, chalks up his first victory in the GSRC Porsche Elite Cup in Term 2 of 2026 and does so with the feature win on the streets of Long Beach. Second for Benny Snell, third for Luke Alavoine. Oh, that was brilliant. Jaden Draper, Jason Wilkinson, Willie Blair, then Paul Rogers, Shane Clancy, Cooper Friend, and Jeff Adams is going to hold off Bondi for 11th. Wow-wee. Wow-wee. Well done, Sam Chapman. 0.7 the winning margin. Benny Snell, I can't wait to catch up with him. In fact, if he gets here first, I might have a chat with him first cab off the rank, with no offence to anybody else, because let's be perfectly honest, Snelly doesn't wait around too long. Patience is not in his vocabulary. So he'll be here and gone in the blink of an eye, so we'll need to catch him while we can. Chapman, the winner from Snell, Alavoine, Draper, Wilkinson, Blair, Rogers, Clancy and Friend, with Jeff Adams rounding out the top 10. Bondi, unfortunately, that spin cost him really, in the end, dearly. Back into 11th, then Richard King and Cam Culverwell, then Luke Brooker, John Akers, Eric Fenson and Jonathan Harris, Dave Oliver and also Luke King. So we had 4 retirements in all of that. Everybody else got home in the lead lap. Geez, that drive-through penalty, that stop and hold, I should say, really cost John Akers, didn't it? He ended up down in 15th, the last car home, but he did somehow manage to stay on the lead lap. Oh, boy. Righto. Ask and you shall receive. He's in the house, and I'm not going to let him get away as quickly as he did last week. I'm actually going to talk to him, first cab off the rank, so that he doesn't escape out of here as quick as Speedy bloody Gonzalez. In fact, where was that reference when I needed it last week, considering we're in Mexico? Benny Snell, great to have you back on the platforms of the GSRC.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. It's great to be back, and yeah, what a fantastic night.
Talk us through it from your standpoint, mate. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about race 2 in a moment, but let's quickly cover off last week. Maybe not necessarily the result you would have been hoping for in Mexico, but still good points on the board, and it's a 10-round campaign. It's not going to be one in the first week, is it?
No, that's right. I literally decided to join because I saw there was like 5 minutes left in the session. I'm like, I'll jump in and get a bit of pracky and then do the quali. And then I realised it was 5 minutes left to qualify. I went, oh no! So I kind of learned as I went last week, and then this week didn't even loan Long Beach. I only bought Long Beach because it's in the 8.6s next week, and I was like, oh, I'll stuff it while I'm here. I watched a track guide, kind of figured out where the braking points were, and spent the hour practice just kind of getting it dialed.
All I'm getting from that, Snelly, is that you're a one-make wonder at the moment, is in terms of that's where you're honing your craft in the one-make formulas.
Yeah. I don't get the GT3 bop. I'm just not kind of. I don't get the GT3s as much, whereas these not as much as the old Porsche Cup car, but they're a lot more fun to drive right on the edge, and you don't have to treat them as nicely as the GTs.
No, absolutely not. Hey, let's talk about, because it's been a while since we've had a chance to catch up with you, mate, and so long, in fact, that I'm pretty certain that was the first time we saw you running around the Mexico City circuit last week. It's great for Formula One. The Formula V guys would argue that they don't want to be on the Formula E configuration ever again, but from your standpoint, what was it like to drive?
I actually really enjoy it. It's a really tricky circuit, but once you kind of figure out how much you can jump the curbs and where the curb strikes are, kind of like here as well. Once you figure out right where the line is, and if you can get so close to the line every lap, it just feels so nice to get it right, but it punishes you so much when you get it wrong, just like here.
Indeed. I'm just going to jump in there to tell everybody that if you're a West Tigers fan, it's a very happy Thursday night for you. 31 points to 14. You guys are home on a Thursday night. That's probably looking like it's going to be 33-14 full-time score with the kick to come. And the AFL, I'll get to the full-time score when the final quarter finishes in about half an hour's time. Luke Alavoin's just about to join us. Kurt Nomenson's here, Paul Wood's here, and Chapo is here as well. We'll get to all of you boys very shortly. In the meantime, sticking with Benny Snell, Toyota 86s, what are you making of them at the moment? Because I didn't get a chance to have a chat with you last night. Obviously, I was off calling the Porsche Pro Invitational Series. But you mentioned that. Very different to the Porsches, no doubt, but equally as fun.
Yeah. The 8.6s and MX-5s are my bread and butter. That's what I'm really usually mobbing around in the afternoons when I get home from work and stuff like that. So as soon as I saw the 8.6s are back on the schedule, I was like, I've got to jump into that. So I'll be planning a full tilt in that, and then when I have Thursdays free, I'll jump into the Porsches as well. But that's probably going to be it for me this season.
When you say when you've got Thursdays free, how many are you aware of that might pose an issue there at the moment?
It's the Thursdays that I can convince my missus to get her lashes booked in on a Thursday, and they're the ones that I can race.
I love it. Every Thursday night, without fail, someone comes in here and reminds us all of who calls the shots, who rules the roost in their respective household. Johnny Banak has mentioned about having to leverage some more time in the sim to join us for some commentary. They are the long-suffering other halves of our cohort here, and we love them dearly, but they are long-suffering as well. There's no doubt about that. Very patient, very tolerant people. So I can understand why you've got to wrestle that delicately, mate. Hey, let's talk about tonight. Long Beach. We didn't see the first race. We're over broadcasting the open split opener. Talk us through it from your standpoint, because really, it set up Heat 2 for you because it gave you the opportunity to start with a clear track in front of you. And again, you brought it home beautifully in one piece, albeit for a bit of crafty Sam Chapman undercut strategy.
Yeah. I was just stoked to be within the pace of the lead pack because, again, not a lot of practice. I don't drive the Porsche that much, but I'm going to drive it a bit more. But I think I qualified fifth. I was super stoked with that. I think it was Chapo that was second that bogged the start and then caught that lane up. So I ended up third. I'm like, stoked. Yep, sweet. I'm just going to follow the leaders. Just don't have confidence on the cold tyres in this car yet. So, followed the leaders through a corner at their pace, which was faster than my pace. Looped it around, went to the back of the pack, and worked my way back up to ninth, which was good. I like that. And then, had a great battle with Sam at the end, and with I think it was Will at the start. And it was fantastic racing. And there was the undercut, and there was also me trying to do the Formula Drift layout on my in-lap when I went way too hot into the last two corners. And I think I lost about a second and a half there. So it might have been really, really close. But I think ultimately Sam had the pace on me, just absolutely weapon around here.
Indeed. And I don't think it's lost on anybody, mate, just how high stakes it is when you go racing on the streets of Long Beach. I mean, and I don't mean that from a competition standpoint necessarily, because let's be honest, we're not racing for $1 million contracts or phone calls from Roland Dane or anything like that. But I mean that you're never too far away from trouble. Walls to the left, walls to the right. It's a high pressure cooker sort of situation that you guys are in for those two sprint races, not least the traffic you've got to contend with and the battles you've got to engage with along the way too.
Yeah, that's it. That was my focus tonight, was just to learn the track and just kind of drive the car so I wasn't aiming for the wall every lap, because I knew if I did that, I would hit the wall. And I think I ended up hitting the wall at one point and gave the front left a little nudge. But it was just try and keep the car straight, keep it pointing in the right direction, keep it off the walls, and see where it played out. And it played out with the podium, so I'm pretty bloody happy with that.
Indeed. What about let me ask you this, because as we know, you've come and gone over the course of time and you've been involved in many different things that we've done here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. What do you make of the current Porsche car? Because there's been a lot of speculation and conversation regarding that one over the course of the last 6 months or so, ever since it became public knowledge that the new incarnation of Porsche Cup cars from the real world would be incorporated into the sim world. And what do you make of the current crop of talent that are out there in the thick of it on the GSRC racetrack?
Firstly, the car. The car is the car. It's definitely no 992.1, but it is still much better than a GT3 car. Like I said before, you can still push the car, drive it off the rear in the corners and stuff like that. You're not worried about being super delicate and not cooking your tyre an extra 2 degrees and then losing half a tenth every lap. So it is a fun car to drive, and the field strength is still just going from leaps and bounds. Like, obviously it's not the same faces that were the fast guys when I used to be here back in the day, but again, the talent here is absolutely astronomical. So it's definitely a great place to get your competitive fix.
Indeed, it is. What else is keeping you busy, mate? I mean, when it's not the Toyotas or the Porsches here, where else are you cutting your teeth as far as sim racing is concerned at the moment?
In terms of sim racing, just mobbing around in officials. I start really early in the morning, so like my alarm goes off at 5. That's why I jumped out last week. I was like, no, I need to go to bed. So I get up early. I finish early. I'm normally home like 3-4 o'clock. So I normally get in for a couple of hours before the missus gets home, and I just bum around on some officials, whatever looks good for the week. Then, of course, with the drifting in real life, I do a lot of drifting with the mates on the sim as well. So that's where I kill my time.
All right, very nicely done. I won't hold you up much longer. Beauty sleep awaits. Let's talk about next week, and I'll pick your brain with regards to both the Toyotas and the Porsches, mate, as we have a look at the week 3 schedule and remind everybody where we're going and what we're doing. On the Wednesday night, you're back here. So, I mean, obviously familiar with the track. Different style of racing, though, with the Toyotas. That's not lost on anybody. And then as far as these guys are concerned, the Porsches, we're off to the Red Bull Ring, and it's a 40-minute race there.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting time, Red Bull. But it should be fun, just making sure you keep the car off the track limits, because obviously they creep up real fast. And I'm really glad I bought Long Beach tonight, because it was an absolute ball. So I can't wait to do it next week in the 8.6s.
I'm amused by that, Snelly, because of the amount of time that we've known you and you've been involved in the caper and everything else. You're the second person this term to admit to having not purchased Long Beach, and I find that astonishing. I find that staggering.
I had it when it was a tech track. That's how long I've been around. And I remember when I had it as a tech track, obviously you didn't have the markers and stuff. I just had no idea where I was. I got lost all the time. I went, this track's crap. And just never bought it because every time you'd see the Twitch clips and stuff like that, it's just people dying all the time. And I'm like, I don't need that in my life. And then I was like, stuff it. I'm going to get it for the 8.6s. So I'll get it tonight, give it a crack at the Porsche. And yeah, obviously there was a lot of carnage tonight, probably more than we usually see. But if you can stay out of the carnage, it's an absolute riot of a track.
You mentioned street circuits and dying in the same sentence, and there's still 2 of them to come on this calendar, mate. And you've got Street Circuit Central on a Wednesday night as well. You picked an interesting season to go Concrete Canyon racing. Adelaide Parklands and St Petersburg. Adelaide relatively new to the server, but not new to the Australian audience, of course. And St Petersburg. What are your immediate thoughts on those?
I don't have St. Pete, so I'll reserve judgment on that. But I was super stoked. Obviously, when Adelaide came out, we downloaded. I was at the Adelaide Grand Final last year, commentating the drift demos, and when they brought the track out, and all the signage was the same as the event that I was at, maybe 6 weeks beforehand, I was like, wow, these guys have really put a lot of effort in it. It is an absolute blast to drive. It's one of my favorite tracks.
It's great when they pay the attention to detail. There's no doubt about that. Anyone you want to thank, my friend?
Of course, massive shout out to you guys, to GSRC for putting all the events on. Again, it's a great place to race on a weeknight if you can stay awake long enough. And of course, massive shout out to my partner Chloe for letting me hide away in the spare room for a few hours.
Indeed. No doubt she's probably already asleep and you're about to be. Go and enjoy some Betty Byers, mate. Good to catch up with you. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do so on a regular basis throughout the course of the season. Looking forward to Long Beach next week. And of course, if you didn't think the Porsche schedule was already hard enough based on 3 street circuits, you've got the Nordschleife in a couple of weeks as well. It's a good time to be in the Porsche Cup on the GSRC, Snelly.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to come back.
All right, very nicely done, mate. Great to catch up with you. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.
From Ben Snell. We'll get to the other South Australian in here in just a moment. Hello, Chapo. Just wait, please. Thank you, caller. Your call is very important to us. Please hold the line and we'll be with you shortly. I want to go to Paul Wood. And again, I'll get to Bondi and Nommensen and Mr. Alavoine in a moment as well. But I want to get to Woodsy because we haven't seen the results come through from the second race of the open split yet, Woodsy. But we have to say congratulations. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of your teammate, clouding the wall and picking up a mechanical meatball. It looked like it was going to be an Aussie races 1-2, just go through the motions. And unfortunately, our good fearless commentary broadcast producer and executive, Adam Lavis, unfortunately clouts the wall and it parts the seas beautifully for you to go through and sweep up the pieces and claim your win. Very nicely done, mate. And carrying on some good momentum that you've got there in the Porsche Cup in the open split at the moment.
Yeah, what a night. That was an interesting one and not how I thought this evening was going to go. But yeah, Adam pipped me at the post for pole and we were both sitting on the grid as we we're waiting for the race and we said, how long has it been since we've actually had an AER front grid or a lockout at the beginning? We said, I think it's been fair bit
I was thinking
of
the
time.
same thing, actually. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we were both sitting there pretty nervous. We're like, oh, now we've just got to kind of convert this into the start and get going. And yeah, we're all just trying to set some pace, get our tyres up the pace. And then, yeah, Adam just went in a little bit too hot and clipped the wall. And as soon as I saw it happening, I thought, oh, this is not going to end well because I saw him bouncing out. And I'm thinking I couldn't slow up any more than what I has. But luckily, I managed to avoid him. So, yeah, I got out of there cleanly. But, yeah, it was just unfortunate because I think going by the second race as well, I managed for the first time, I think, ever to actually get the double. So I got the win in the second race and Maverick come in second. So had the first race gone better, we could have been 1-2 and 2-1 in the second race. So, yeah, it was all in all a very good night. And I surprised myself by finding a little bit of pace right near the end of practice. So, yeah, I'm happy with it. I'll take it and, yeah, try and enjoy the moment because I don't know how often I'll get the double win again.
coordinator was the word I was looking for, of course, because he oversees everything from a broadcast standpoint, does Adam Lavis. But straightening up, congratulations to you, because that was my next question. How the bloody hell did race 2 go? You've already answered that for me. On a street circuit as well, Woodsy, like that's a dream result. The near perfect night, great recovery from Adam as well to work his way through from outside the top 10 to be second there in that second heat. We'll have the points hopefully for you, if not last thing tonight, first thing next week. Obviously, depends on whether he's got an early alarm or not. You might know that detail as well, Woodsy. But great result for you, great result for the team. And when you look at the open split points race at the moment, like going into the round, you were sitting there in second behind Jordan Dakin, who was, caught up in the mid-pack there in race 1. So early days, but it's looking good for you to be a championship contender this time around.
Yeah, actually, I tell you the truth, I'd even forgotten to look at the championship, so I had no idea I was sitting in second. So yeah, surprising. I didn't actually think I had that good of results last week, but I'll take it. And after tonight, yeah, it's now the pressure's on. Now's when I'll crack, and let's see if I turn into coal or actually turn into diamond. So yeah, still early days. A lot can happen, but I'm feeling comfortable at the moment in the car. So yeah, let's see if I can convert it to some decent results.
Very nicely done. How did you and Adam? Yes, Mav went to bed. Thank you, Sean Benici. I thought he might have. Having not seen any movement on the Google Drive documents that give us all the points information that we distribute to you on broadcast, I thought that may have been the case. He's probably got one of those ungodly hour of the AMs alarms like Benny Snell does, and I don't envy you lot in the slightest. I'll be knocking out Zeds at that point in time, and peacefully so, I must say, and not feeling guilty about it in the slightest. But continuing with you, Woodsy, to get that result on a street circuit is one thing. Obviously, strategy and a few other things went your way as well. How do you take that momentum and confidence out of here, considering that every track we go to is so vastly different, and convert it into 40-minute mode next week at the Red Bull Ring?
Look, if I can just try and be on pace and keep the car straight, like that was one of my bigger concerns at the track tonight because they were bouncing all over the shoppers. I thought there's no way I'm not going to loop this, but I had one moment in the first race, but managed to gather it up. But yeah, look, next week I think is going to be a better, probably battling race for the cars because much smoother track and that sort of thing. And yeah, as Ben said, it's going to be minimizing the off track, so try and get the bonus points because I think with big wide track, going to a lot of moves that are going to happen. So hopefully some really good racing where it's the concrete jungles are fun. I really enjoy them, even though I don't always get the best results, but I really do enjoy them. Other than when you hit the wall, but yeah, look, it's I just want to keep going, keep practicing, keep trying to keep that consistency going. Like I said, so far so good this season. So I'll just try and keep that going. See if Adam and I can work together. I think the second race was just fuel strategy that got us over the line. In the end, we both were talking to each other in the race. We planned a bit of a gap, so we knew we'd get a bit of clean air once we did pit. So we did that, managed to get some time and jump the rest of the guys to take the lead. So yeah, it's just keep working on strategy, keep the car straight, try and keep on pace, and let's just see how it all shakes out come the end of the season.
Absolutely, mate. What my main takeaway from that, Woodsy, was I really, really enjoy it, except for when I don't. And I like that philosophy. I like that mindset. Now, what else is going to keep you busy between now and Monday and when we reconvene for GT3, apart from, a couple of post-race investigations that have already been confirmed on our broadcast this evening?
For me, tomorrow night, and interesting to see what this new BOP has done to the GTEs, because I've really been enjoying racing those. But just reading, there's been a couple of changes to the BMW, which I'm driving. So we'll see what sort of changes that actually means on track. And if it can be, my biggest thing is fuel economy has been adjusted. So I'm hoping it's a little bit better for the big M8 is a very thirsty car. So yeah, that's tomorrow night for that. Other than that, it's catching up on the steward's work and getting ready for GT3 on Monday night.
I like that point actually about the GTE because there was a little bit of unscheduled, well, last minute announced maintenance scheduled by iRacing last night. So anything that's occurred in the last 24 hours, yeah, just a bit more rubbish for us to get our heads around. There's no doubt about that. Woodsy, you've been very good with your time, mate. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
I just thank Bailey Ladders for their continued support, and yeah, for all the other guys for keeping the challenge up as well. This has been a really enjoyable season so far, and yeah, everyone is just getting stronger and stronger week to week. So yeah, thanks everyone for turning up.
All right, very nicely done. Good to hear from you, mate. Well done on the result tonight. A PB night for you, I'm almost willing to say, as well, as far as the Porsches are concerned, without having verified that with points and previous statistics and everything else. But a dream run, and hopefully you can go on with it.
Yeah, that's the plan. So we'll see what next week brings. So yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, very nicely done. There he is, Paul Wood. I can see Luke Alavoin's got himself muted at the moment, but I'm hoping he might be able to unmute himself because that's where I want to go and have a chat with last week's race winner. You're right. The Formula Vs were a bunch of fun. We'd love for you to come and have a race of them at some point, mate. However, you were focused on the Porsches. And to be fair, rightly so. Talk us through the night from your standpoint, please.
Battle of Attrition and Survival, a couple of spin outs in race 1 and race 2. Nearly gave it away in that second race, right in the last corner. Luckily, you didn't catch it in the broadcast.
Oh, well, hang on. Don't speak so soon.
We always have the replay. We always have the replay.
Exactly. Andrew can leave the camera there for a little while longer if he needs to. There's no doubt about that. We're focused on you at the moment. Hang on, here it is. He's found it.
Very nicely done. I was having a crack at the fastest lap to get the extra 2 points, and I went a bit too hard in that last
corner. The wall. Oh, dear. Well, and that's a point, isn't it? And I'm glad we're talking about this so early in the piece, mate, because you guys, it's not lost on you, right? Yes, it is a 10-week championship, but how often do you see it decided by 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 points at most? And it all comes back to those little 1%ers. I can understand your desire to go out in pursuit of that fastest lap. Obviously, Chapo denied you that. But it makes all the difference if you can get the pole positions, the fastest laps, the clean races, the most positions gained, all those bonuses, they add up. And Chapo knows all too well because he's won and lost championships based on that in the past himself.
Just happy to be in the conversation. I'm just trying to hang around and just see what happens.
Obviously, a challenging night. As you say, a survival, but that seems to be a common theme across the cohort here. It's just typical Long Beach, isn't it? It's really, really tight. It's really, really challenging.
First experience at Long Beach, so I now understand what it's all about.
Happy that you brought the circuit?
Yeah, with the result in the second race, definitely.
And hopeful, no doubt, that you'll be able to build on what you've achieved tonight, learn a few more pointers here and there, and improve next time we visit.
Yeah, definitely. Red Bull's a bit more familiar, so we'll see what we can do there.
Oh, no, I meant when we come back to Long Beach. Would you welcome a return visit, another opportunity to learn the track and improve?
Yeah, sure, why not? As long as I don't spin out twice, I'll take that.
Well, once it'd be an improvement, and then obviously we're hoping for cleanliness after that. Hey, talk to me, because it is going to be a really tight battle. You've got a few different names being thrown into the hat at the moment. Chapo obviously being the most prominent of those. What are your thoughts on how this championship plays out? And you've already highlighted the Red Bull Ring. That's the next stop. It seems as though you're a bit more familiar and a bit more comfortable with that circuit.
Yeah, I know the track. I've raced it a few times in other formats, so just got to get used to this car on it and just see what happens. Chapo's obviously the benchmark at the moment, so if we can hang around, who knows what's going to happen.
I'm actually looking forward to picking Chapo's brain about that at the moment, because he's also, as you might be aware, he's running the Porsche Pro Invitational as well. So I think he's had to bring a little bit more to the table with regards to his Porsche driving, and that might be having a knock-on effect for what we've seen from him so far here on the platforms at the GSRC this term in this Series 2. From your standpoint, mate, what else is on the schedule between now and the Red Bull Ring? And we go back to 40-minute mode, which worked for you last week as well. So all the boxes are starting to align nicely for you. The task will be, the difficult part will be going out there and ticking those boxes, I guess.
Definitely, yeah, time poor. So Porsche, Red Bull will be the next race. Be able to not have the heart rate flying, so it should be good.
We'll eventually twist your arm and get you to make a cameo in Formula V, I hope. You
time,
clearly,
look
obviously
fun.
enjoyed what you were watching there.
Oh, I look crazy. No room for error in those cars, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. No room to come up for air in the commentary box either. Now, well done, mate. That was brilliant. I mean, obviously, we're liking what we're seeing from you guys at the moment. I'm just noting here on my run sheet, Blair Sim Racing. Obviously, you know, the more drivers we bring into the fold, the more drivers we talk to, the more teams we learn about. Tell us a little bit about the stable there at Blair and where we can follow their progress if they've got social media pages and the like.
Yeah, just got the call up from old Willie Blair last season. Just had a good race in Miami, and he gave me the call up, so I thought I'd jump on. If you want to catch us on socials, it's at Blair Sim Racing, definitely.
Taking the Greg Heaney approach, I like it. As soon as he sees someone out there that he likes that isn't attached to a team, straight on the blower. Excellent. Good recruitment. We encourage that on the platforms of the GSRC. Well done, mate. That was magnificent. Apart from Willie, of course, who else would you like to thank?
Just again, the GSRC team and yourself, Zach, for making the great call. Cheers for that.
No, my pleasure. I wouldn't be anywhere else on a Thursday night, even though the Swannies are playing in the AFL. I've had it on right a screen here, and they've smashed the Bulldogs. So my AFL colleague in this part of the world, Jack Hasler, is going to be very, very quiet tomorrow, and that's not a bad thing. So very good. I might even see him on Saturday because he's usually part of the Anzac Day march. Go well, mate. Thank you for that. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's go to Kurt Nommenson, and then I'll come back to Bondi and Chapo. And apologies, Bondi, I still haven't got your housekeeping yet. And you know what I mean by that. So I don't have to say anything more than that. It's a tomorrow job once I've done the shopping. Kurt Nommenson, to you. Good to see you out there in the first race, of course, when we were broadcasting the Open Split. Talk us through the night from your standpoint. Was it a bit of a survival mode sort of mentality, a bit like what we've heard some of the other drivers mention so far?
Definitely in the first race, because first lap I had front aero damage, so it was just, drive it to the end of the race. But the second race, it was starting from the front row and just, pushing as hard as I can to try and keep the positions after the pit stops. And yeah, come out about 5th, 6th, and ended up in P4 at the end of it, so it wasn't too bad.
And that's a good recovery, mate. I mean, we talk about a couple of things here. One, damage, easy to attain, very hard to shake off, and it compromises you. But at least you're in a position where you're able to work with it rather than having to come to the pit lane for a mechanical meatball or a fast repair. The second race, how lucky for you though that you were able to be at the front of that 28 car field, because there was a lot of action in the mid pack, and any opportunity to be clear of that would be welcomed, I'm sure.
100%. It all popped up in my mirror from about P4, so it was pretty lucky that I started off the front row because it kept me out of it, and the top three managed to sort of break away for a little while before Woodsy and Mavs decided to spoil the party and run away from us after the pit stops.
Indeed. Strategy, obviously that's where the Aussie Racers stable held the edge tonight. What do you take out of the fact that you're able to put a solid 27-minute result together, bag a top five? How much confidence does that fill you with going to the Red Bull Ring next week?
Yeah, it definitely helps. I pitted a bit pretty early on in the race, just trying to get out of the battle pack that I was sort of stuck in and try and get some clean air, because I could sort of see on the track that like just listening to cars go on the other side, it was pretty clear where I would have come out. So pit in, got some clear track running, and then yeah, was able to pump out some pretty quick laps while I had some clear air.
Indeed. Let's talk about what else is coming up as far as your racing's concerned, mate. I mean, everyone's got varying different schedules and commitments this term. What are yours? Because I know work's been playing an increasing role in compromising your ability to go racing as often as you'd like.
Yeah, at the moment it's probably just going to be show up when as many nights as I can in Porsche Cup, and if I can show up in others, I'll show up in others. But yeah, like I wanted to race last night, but I had an early start this morning, so I would have been having to go to bed about halfway through the supercars. So I sort of went, I'll just skip the supercars and go to bed.
Kurt, what's an extra 20 minutes, really?
I needed it. I was so tired when I woke up this morning, even after sleeping for 10 hours.
Fair. Jordan Dakin, can we never race here again, please? That tells you everything about Jordan's night, unfortunately. What a mess indeed. But I guess that's one of the trip hazards of this racetrack, isn't it, mate? And we saw it. It's so easy to, once there's an incident around you or in front of you or beside you, it's so easy to get embroiled in all of that. And I guess the news doesn't get any better for Jordan, does it, Kurt? Because we've still got the Nordschleife to get to, and then 2 more street circuits after that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be rough. From what I was hearing, I think he just missed turn 1 while there was a car exit in the pits, and it was just a bit of a schmozzle there in the feature. But it is what it is. That's the joys of Long Beach pit exit. It's sort of right on the corner exit of turn 1 is where you sort of merge together.
We're a good term and a half into the existence of the 992.2 on the platforms on the iRacing server. Are you any happier with it than what you were at the start? And I asked that because you heard Benny Snell earlier saying it's got nothing on the 992.1.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better. I definitely have noticed it's not as pogo-y as it was before. So it's definitely slowly improving. They're slowly fixing things, but I definitely think that the older cars without the old pogo and everything are definitely better in my opinion. But this is definitely coming a long way, and I'm really enjoying it and picking up more and more pace in it.
Just want to bring Sam Chapman in here at this particular point in time, with no disrespect to you or Bondi, but I want to bring Chapo in because that comment there from Jordan Dakin, Chapo, if you can see it, it says really goes to show how important quality is. And he's absolutely right. It's not the be-all and end-all on every circuit, but it's of paramount importance on a street track, isn't it? Good evening to you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'd zoned out. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be hitting walls. I certainly did a few times tonight, but it comes also back to if you are going to hit those walls, make sure you hit them flush, and you don't hit them too hard. So yes, you don't want to. It's very easy to give up a whole lot of time around a place like this, and you don't want to go through this pit lane twice either. So. Yeah, you do actually, and the car was brilliant around here tonight. It actually came alive in my view. So, anyway,
we'll come back and discuss that in more detail in just a moment. Been a busy 24 hours for you, Sam. So, thank you for that, Kurt. To finish with you, mate. Looking forward to next week already. Obviously, we've already covered off the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be an interesting campaign, and still very good, solid numbers in that open split. And it looks as though Paul Wood and the Northwind boys, when things fall their way, they're going to be the two teams to really strive towards trying to match or beat.
Yeah, hopefully I can get a little bit more practice coming up. Well, that was a big one. Yeah, hopefully I can get a bit more practice and actually start, racing with them. A lot of the time it's with work, I'm just too tired after I get home from work or something, and I just want to go to bed.
That was Cooper Friend and Eric Fenson, and unfortunately it did Fenson. And unfortunately for him, Cooper Friend walked away relatively scot-free. So there's always someone that ends up worse for wear in an incident like that, and that was the end of Eric's night. Kurt, thank you, mate. Who would you like to thank before I let you go, please?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the boys at RER and all the sponsors, AITX, Shieldcoat, Sudspeed, Kibby, and Slady's Clothworks.
All right, excellent. Very nice to catch up with you, mate. Appreciate it. Good luck with what's coming up over the next few days. We'll catch up next week.
Crazy, thank you.
Now, I just remembered actually, because I didn't get a chance to do the image cropping of the screenshot that I had to send Andrew and Neil throughout the course of the intermission just gone. So I'm going to do that whilst I introduce. I'm going to try and multitask here and do so very unsuccessfully, ladies and gentlemen. But as I introduce Craig Bond, Bondy, that was all going so well until you lit up the rear end and the Porsche did Porsche things and looped you around down there at, I think it was turn 6 or 7. And that really hamstrung the rest of your run? Because you're on a real tear until that point, pushing towards a top 5 finish. So really, your finishing result in that second race, not a fair reflection of the pace you had tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Good evening, Zach. You've done all the
Come on,
speaking for me. That's all I really have to say. I
Oh, well, in
made
that case, then have a nice night.
I made a terrible driving error, which is a kind of common thing for me to do, kind of not as well. But yeah, that mistake put me way too far back in race 1, and just track position was not in my favour tonight from that point. But pace, I was amazing with that. I reckon I was competitive for at least top 3 or be able to fight for there if I had the track position, which I sadly didn't. So yeah, and then that incident there didn't help me either in race 2. So I made my night harder for myself, and I'm kind of annoyed I did, because otherwise I might have had half a chance. But we'll learn. I had heaps of fun. Track was amazing with this car. Really enjoyed it. So
Now, on that subject, race 1 obviously didn't necessarily go to plan either, because you were starting outside the top 10 for race 2, but that obviously didn't deter you. You knew you had the pace, and you set out and proved it there with some really solid green flag laps in the early part. I mean, as I said, before that spin, you're up +5, +6 positions. Where did it go wrong in race 1, please?
yeah, I got confused there. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it yet, but over the
Correct.
curbing after coming onto that back straight area, the corner before I spun in the last race, I clobbered the curb and turned into an airplane, and then yeah, a trampoline doesn't really like to settle down quick, so yeah, spun that, went from second, fighting for the lead, to dead last or second last or something. So that's pretty much put me outside of the top 10 for race 1, and that's where my night pretty much went wrong, and it just didn't get any better from that point onwards.
I guess, okay, glass half empty, glass half full. Let's have a chat about the bigger picture here, right? You've got through, you bagged some points, right? If it ends up being a drop round, so be it. But at the same time, you've got another 8 rounds. You know there's another 2 street circuits, plus the notorious Nordschleifer as well. How do you go about minimising slip-ups between now and those other street races, which are coming up back-to-back weeks, week 8 and 9?
Well, as far as I know, this is the one series I'm going to be able to commit to all season long, hopefully. So my GT3, F3, that's a write-off. They're my drop rounds done, gone. Hopefully I'll be able to do the rest of the season. Supercars, I hopefully can do the rest of the season, but I've already wasted 2 drop rounds there pretty much. And then this, it's going to be, see what we can do. Hopefully we can do pretty good, but yeah. Notchlife I'm looking forward to. I really enjoy this car there, so that's going to be good. And then I'm not minding the car. I'm getting better with the car. Everything is coming to me with this, and yeah, I'm actually enjoying the car more than when it first came out. So hopefully give it a bit more time and I can have a bit more pace, but I don't really need that by the looks of it, because I'm still pretty competitive when I've got the right track position.
Well, this is very true. This is very true, and you proved that last week with the podium finish in Mexico as well. But obviously, for you, like everybody else, the benchmark, the guy you're trying to beat at the moment, is Chapo.
Well, I proved I could do that last week with a little mishap in pits.
Bondi,
but
you've got to do it every week.
you will, yeah. Okay, it's me. Don't have too much expectation, Zach. So yeah, I know we've got pace through races and in quali to be up within the top 5 or so. Hopefully, it's just going to be sticking them together each week, each race, each session, moving forward, and hopefully we can come out somewhat decent by the end of the season.
Exactly right. Now, on that subject, are you going to jump in? Have you got the capacity to jump in tomorrow night, or have you got commitments elsewhere with regards to the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship?
Wouldn't have any plans. It is being broadcasted, right?
I
Tomorrow?
got no idea at this particular point because
Yeah.
last week we had plans to broadcast and it fell off the rails. I don't know who's available. It's a very much a floating fixture, whether there's a broadcast on a Friday night or not this term. So stand by. We'll confirm for you at a later point.
Yeah, well, I'm still.
Are you meaning to say that you're only interested in going for a race if it's being broadcasted?
Oh, it's from you, Zach. I'd always want to
okay,
do
right.
races with you broadcasting.
Okay.
You
Keep
say I
crawling.
couldn't qualify for Porsche Invitational, yet I've got Pace and Porsche Cup now, so maybe I'm a bit late to that party. But
Exactly. But take that, take a leaf out of what Chapo's been able to achieve, and run with it, mate. Build on it and try again next year. That Porsche Pro Invitational is going gangbusters at the moment. It'll be back next year. Don't worry about that. You'll have another chance. But you're going to have to bring your absolute A game there. Because as you saw, less than a second covered the top 40, and that was the difference between making the cut and not. So it is really, really tight. You'd expect nothing less. It's a very healthy environment at the moment, Porsche racing in Australian sim racing circles. So we're looking forward to actually catching up with Chapo about that in a moment. Hey, when's the next karting meeting, please?
karting, I think sadly it is Wagga. Actually, yeah, I think it is Wagga. I think, which should be on like the 9th of May or something. So
All right,
it's
very
not Mother's
nicely
Day
done.
thing. But yeah, should see me tomorrow night, hopefully. Unless I get into a sticky situation with V8 Sculpts where I need a few more, another session to try and up my lap time to qualify for that. But I've got hope for this round. I'm within a second of first, and that is my area I want to be within. And I believe if I'm within a second, I should be able to qualify by Sunday. So hopefully I'm in that and I can do that on Sunday.
Fingers crossed for you, mate. Very nicely done. Red Bull Ring, Austria, next stop in this series. Are we expecting similar to what we saw in Mexico from you?
Not sure. I do enjoy Austria. It is great. But we do have me driving the car, so that can be very on and off depending. So we might have to hire a new driver. We'll see how that goes. Don't think anyone wants to race for me.
No.
But yeah. I'll give that a hard crack. I should be able to do okay. It's just going to be maximizing rotation in this car and being careful on corner entries, not to get off tracks by using all the tracks. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I don't finish last, and we should be chilling.
How's school going, by the way, now that you're back for term 2?
Been there one day, which is today, and I've already hated it. But yeah, the engineering camp, I thought I wanted to leave. I might want to go back. School isn't too great.
Copy that. No further questions, Your Honour. Who do you want to thank?
All my sponsors, Bond Motors, Gun Guy, Craig Bond Racing, South Gun Guy Automotive, Gun Guy Tilt Trays, Riverina Go Kart Centre, Viewco, and that is all. So thank you, Zach, and GSRC.
You're most welcome. Thanks for stopping on by. I apologise. We've kept you up past your bedtime, but what's new?
Oh, I don't have bedtime anymore.
Oh, okay. We're through that age threshold, are we?
Was I messaging you the other night? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think bedtimes exist. Especially not after engineering camp.
No, true. Very, very true. I don't have a bedtime these days either. I should, though. I'd be a lot more productive if I could get into some sort of routine there. Thank you, Bondi. Well done.
Thank you, Zach.
Definitely had the pace towards the back end there. Just ran out of time to really make some inroads on the 5 or 6 cars that were around him, and did well actually in the grand scheme of things once Cooper Friend and Eric Fenson came together to not get caught up in any potential incidents. There was a point there, I think you'll see it on the replay, where those guys were 3 wide, Clancy Adams and Bond, and yes, how they got away from all of that unscathed, I'll never know. Chapo, can we have a chat about a couple of things here, please? Finally, some sort of familiarity with regards to you and Formula V, with regards to, well, race 2 anyway. Unfortunately, race 3 didn't go to plan. You had to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I just jinked a little bit too far to the left. I thought he was going to keep spinning out that way, and yeah, did not hit that wall flush, so gave me a lovely meatball. The car was fine, not too bad actually. Like I was following fine, but there was too many laps left, so I had to take the pit, unfortunately. So I got back to about 11th or 12th. So well, it's not actually the worst thing in the world, but it was less than ideal after what was a pretty decent night before that.
Well, this is exactly right, mate. I mean, let's be perfectly honest with regards to the Vs. No surprise to see you and Adam Lavis team up on the racetrack again. You have a habit of finding each other when you go out there racing, especially in Formula V. There was one point there where I was wondering how it was going to play out, but thankfully kept it nice and clean. Unfortunately, as you say, the car seemed all right, but iRacing very fickle with those meatballs and how they deploy them, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I'm not quite sure why they deploy them if the car still feels all right. I can't see the point in that because I don't know if a race steward would be going out there going, oh, I don't know, the car that's the same pace as the cars ahead better get off track, even though it looks the same.
Needs wheel alignment.
Yeah, needs a wheel, needs to go to Bob Jane. So, yeah, no, so it is what it is. It's still a bit of a pack there, so it wasn't the end of the world, but yeah, a little bit frustrating. But yeah, it was good fighting with Adam there. That was a well-managed race. I knew once, we were there that we would sort of play it nicely and we're able to just hold the pace ahead so that next pack couldn't, catch us. So I was pushing very hard for that to happen. And then it was just a case of, making sure that I could hold it through that final corner. I don't think the Vs have quite the toe they used to be honest.
No.
We've now seen that in a couple of races. I thought maybe with Mexico it was more of a case of, it's really high,
altitude.
high level altitude. Yeah, so that's the word
The
I'm
fact that
looking
it was
for.
a dicky layout as well.
Oh, you don't need to start me on that.
I'm trying.
Yeah. There's plenty of 8 to throw, but yeah, no, it's which I think is actually a good thing because you're going to have to throw a few moves properly rather than just the complete overlap and go. So I think it makes for some good racing. But and then obviously got outsmarted in the first race. So well done to Sagaso, who's looking really quick this season.
Yeah, are you as surprised as everybody else that Chris Noble's yet to bag a win, yet to buy some luck in this series?
Yeah, I am. He seemed to struggle a bit so far. He's just sort of, I'm not sure what's going on. There's sort of a few times there was the sort of, he sort of half hit me, or whether it was a bit of net code as well. I don't know. Maybe he's having internet stuff as well. I'm not sure, but he's not quite been where we expect. Where like often it is him and I duking it out and ahead of other guys, but there's certainly a pack there that can fight. He'll come good. I mean, the bloke knows how to race a V. We know that. So maybe it is once again. Maybe it's just getting the hang of the car. It is probably a little bit different than what it was last time we raced, and maybe it's just getting the hang of it a little bit.
Indeed, maybe so. Summit Point's the next stop for that series, mate. We're expecting photo finishes left, right, and centre.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be good fun. You'll see some proper pack and overlap racing and that sort of thing through that long straight, straight onto straight. So, we'll see some good finishes there, I assume, and I'd imagine you'll see some carnage too in that sort of dicky middle sector and that kink. So, I think that'll be good. Once again, a bit like Alton Park, there'll be a lot of guys that will know that track in the Vs and be comfortable with it. So hopefully we get a decent crowd.
Very nicely done. Looking forward to Summit Point. next Thursday night here, live, exclusive and free on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. By the way, Swans home by 66 points, 11 goals in the end over the Western Bulldogs, 126-60. Didn't get a chance to mention that earlier. And, of course, later tonight, the big sport continues because the Indian Premier League takes centre stage. You will see that, and also the Pakistan Super League as well. But the Indian Premier League tonight, Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, midnight Eastern Standard Time. That is on Fox Sports. Now, Chapo, your thoughts on Spa last night? Action aplenty, left, right and centre. Plenty of carnage in the early stages. Race 1 particularly plagued by safety cars, which was no surprise to all and sundry. Thankfully, we got a good, clean, green run for the bulk of Race 2, though.
Yeah, that race 1 was shocking. Oh, gosh, just, particularly because we were time limited too, rather than lap limited.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're just watching the minutes tick away, and you're just like, I reckon we spent over half that race under safety car. It was just, it was a bit boring, but it was, that second race after the first few safety cars, and, the P1 went early on that last safety car, and I think split the field up a little bit, which was probably beneficial because everyone wasn't quite as on top of each other. And that split things up a little bit. But, obviously I was pretty happy with how we went last night. It was just, playing it nicely. The pace was decent, didn't make any errors, or at least no significant errors, and was able to slowly ease my way forward. So, that race 2, getting into the top 10 in that field, I was pretty stoked with. So hopefully we can sort of keep moving up from there and keep building on, particularly that quali pace, because obviously making it through the field, particularly that many safety cars, but just making it through the field generally in a field like that is going to be really difficult. So we'll keep working on that. But that was a decent step forward after a pretty rubbish round 1.
Let's pick it apart a little bit further, because as I said, you've had to step up your game in the Porsche Cup, and I'm going to throw some, instead of throwing some bait, I'm going to throw some praise in your direction for a change of pace.
Wow.
Maybe clip this so you have it for safekeeping for a later point in time. But I would hazard a guess that as a result of the fact that you've taken the step up into the Pro Invitational, the benefit of that has been your overall game, your racecraft within the Porsche Cup car itself. We know this 992.2 isn't everybody's cup of tea, mate, but it's forced you to step up and apply yourself in a way that we've associated with the legends and the Formula Vs in the past, and obviously any race where fuel savings required, Australian Open World Nationals, etc. But I think the knock-on effect of that in a beneficial way has been what we've seen so far from you this term, particularly in the Porsche Cup on the platforms of the GSRC. I mean, a podium last week, a race win tonight. Okay, race 1 here tonight might not necessarily have gone to plan, but certainly race 2, holding off Benny Snell, pulling off the undercut. All those ingredients lined up very nicely, very Sam Chapman-esque type racing. But would you agree with me that the fact that you're now playing with the pro boys in Porsche Cup racing has only improved your craft as a Porsche racer?
Yeah, I would. I did quite a few laps yesterday. I actually even took the day off work because I was like, right, I need to get the hang of this car. So,
Smooth.
So I did quite a lot of laps around Spa, and wasn't quite on the pace of my teammates until we got right towards quali, and then we were right there. So I was happy with that. But yeah, I do think it's increased sort of the confidence in the car. I really enjoyed racing it tonight, actually. I really enjoyed how it felt around here, being able to lever it around. I was quick. And I probably wasn't playing it how I, often do, which is a bit safer, because sort of in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, I've got to practice for sprint racing. So, we're going to push. We're not just going to sit back and fuel save. We're going to give it a red hot crack and see if we can make some moves on track, even if that's really difficult around here. So, that was good. It was a lot of fun. And then, race 1. I mean, race 1, the issue was it was just a complete rookie error, and I feel so sorry for the guy behind me. I was in neutral on the start. I was there ready to go, ready to get a mega launch, neutral on the start. Then I'm going, oh my God, like flicking around gears, get rear-ended. I was in 18th by the end of the first corner. So to get back to 6th, I was pretty happy with in that period of time. But yeah, we'll try not to do that in the Pro Series or do that again because that was a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card, to be honest, that I didn't get completely wrecked. But yeah, I do think it's helping, and I'm finding a fair bit more confidence in the car. Yeah,
And obviously, there's a big hype around the Porsche Pro Invitational Series at the moment, mate. You know that for those 12 rounds of the year, you want to bring your best to the table, and the only way, I guess, to do that and reap the benefits and yield the results in the long run is to continue chipping away at it.
yeah, absolutely. And doing a race at Red Bull Ring would be a nice touch for that as well. We'll have to hit that at the Red Bull Ring at some point, so it'd be good to have a few laps around there too. But yeah, no, I think the more you do in any given car, the better. Probably the fact that I've been in the V's for as long as I have is why I can sort of jump in and be quick in most situations. So hopefully that will be the case with Porsche as things go on, and I might, if I get time, start doing a few official races or something like that. But yeah, like it's certainly feeling a little bit more natural for me, and I think sort of my thought process of treating it like a bit more like a GT3, I'm no longer doing, and I'm really sort of throwing the thing around, which makes it a hell of a lot more fun to race.
Let's talk about the fact that, again, you pulled the trigger, you went early, you zagged when others zigged, you pulled off the undercut. Snelly wasn't surprised with the sort of pace that you brought to the table, but it must have been nice to get one up on someone of Snelly's longevity and calibre.
Yeah, it was, and it was a really good race. Yeah, like the pace was really good. Like I was able to pull him in, and then just sort of had a few errors in that process. Got myself a slowdown when I was doing quite well at pulling him in, and then by the time I got quite close, I got within a second, I hit the inside wall on that final turn, and lost a huge amount of pace going up the straight. So then that's why I pulled in early. That was actually the only reason I pulled in early. I was going to fight it on track, but at that point I was like, well, I'm about to bleed a whole bunch of time up the entire straight. I may as well cut my losses and hit pit lane and take the stop now. I'm not sure if it was a particularly quick stop. I was doing a bit of saving here and there to make sure that I didn't have to fill up too much, but I wasn't doing much saving throughout it. So, and then yeah, I was just pushing those laps, just hoping that I'd be able to catch it back up because I had about, I reckon I was a second and a half or something back when I pitted. And saw him coming out of pit lane and just went, oh, I'm going so late on the brakes here. And I reckon just about went into the tyre barriers trying to make sure that my car was ahead. So, but yeah, it worked, and that was the game there, because I knew I could sort of defend my position from there, and the pace was decent enough that I'd be able to stay in front. So I was very happy with that. Got a few biffs and barges throughout the race. Got damage in both races, but car still drove okay. There was an example of that. But yeah, car still drove okay and still had a huge amount of confidence in it, which was really good.
Very nicely done. Let's talk about Formula V and Porsche Cup racing going forward. I'm not sure. I've sort of lost track of things. I think I might have asked you already about some, but if I haven't, please leave me there. And then secondly, then we back it up and go to the Red Bull Ring, which is a totally different bit of real estate for Porsche racing than what we were playing on tonight. And it should lend itself to some lively chopping and changing and squabbling for positional battles on track.
Yeah, it will. It'll be very lively. These cars love a tow. It's... and you noticed it at Spa. I mean, Spa is obviously a bit of a killer for it, but Red Bull Ring will be like that as well. You know, once you're out of that tow, it's pretty difficult to catch those guys ahead. And obviously, that's probably a tighter field than this one will be. But you know, it's still not going to be super easy because the tow is significant. You know, and they perform. You get a bit of understeer, but they perform pretty well in tow. And given that you can push the tyres pretty hard, harder than you can in sort of GT3s and that sort of thing. Yeah, you can take it to that limit and keep up. So, yeah, that'll be good. You know, I think I probably hoped it would be sprint racing around Red Bull Ring, but I think regardless, Red Bull Ring will be a lot of fun. Yeah, hopefully we just keep growing out the field a little bit. I still think they need to bring a few open guys in here, given the numbers that are in open. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, we'll say, oh, this was sorry.
Yeah, what happened here, please?
Yeah, so I went right. I'm on the inside. This is great. But I hadn't opened up the corner enough, and then I had it on full lock, and I just went, well, the car doesn't get around and let the other car on the outside. So I had to pretty much stop in the middle of the corner so we could go past. But then he still went a bit narrow in, so it sort of clipped me on the way through. So that obviously cost a lot of time. It would have been a great move, but I would have needed to have been a bit further to the left on that entry because that corner is just the tightest corner in iRacing. So, yes, we live and we learn. So we had to push back again from here.
Indeed, and you certainly were able to do that, and very well, we must say. What else is on Sam Chapman's racing radar between now and when we reconvene next Thursday night? Of course, you got an opportunity now with a bit of a break between Porsche Pro Invitational rounds to have a dabble in the 86s again, yeah?
Yes, yeah, I potentially could. I could. I don't know. I might be able to touch grass on a Wednesday night every now and then, but I'll have a think about it. What track have we got for the 86s?
Sorry. Be very careful around these parts. How you reference touching grass? Jesus. Sorry, I'm in Ipswich. You know. Anyway, next week for the supercars, we're here, Long Beach, and the 86s, of course, before it. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, all right. No outside for me then, maybe. Well, we might have to jump in for that. That'll be a bit of fun. Yeah, okay. We'll see how we go, but that sounds like fun. I've also I've got to make the chase for NASCAR on Tuesday for the X Series. So that's, however, at Talladega. So I'm gonna throw some dice in the air and see where that lands. And yeah, and then we're back on the Thursday, and yeah, hopefully I'll try and I didn't get heaps of laps in before tonight. It didn't help that iRacing went down. I was actually in a good mood to do a bit of a few more laps in a Porsche last night after Spa.
Yes.
But I couldn't do them because iRacing was down. So did a couple before jumping in for quali in the Vs, but yeah, hopefully we can do a couple more next week. But yeah, I mean, either way, I was pretty happy with how this went tonight. So yeah, that'll be me. Yeah, hopefully we can continue.
Hopefully we can indeed. I'm not sure there's much else to cover off with you, if I'm perfectly honest, Chapper. I think we've covered a lot of ground here over the last 10, 15 minutes or so. Oh, Struth, have we been here that long? Yes, we have. I think we'll let you go on that note. Anyone you want to thank before I do let you go?
Yeah, I mean, always thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, you know, and the club for putting it all together. Well, thank the team as well. You know, that they are instrumental in the Porsches, and you know, having some super quick guys around. I mean, obviously people like Antle and Rick are, you know, unbelievable in these cars and can put together a decent setup. So learning from them is great, but you know, all those other guys as well are lightning in this, and that's been a really good part of it all. And of course, you know, Fury coming on board for the Porsches as well as a sponsor's been really good to, you know, get a bit of orange on the car too. So yep, thanks to all those guys.
Thanks to them indeed. Good to catch up with you, mate. Thank you for that. We've covered a lot of ground, and there was a lot to cover because obviously with all the Porsche racing going on this week and Formula V, they'd be wrong not to get your views on all of that. Well done on the race win tonight. 3 different winners to start the season in the elite split. It's game on as far as that championship's concerned. It's going to be a tight, hard-fought race, and looking forward to it, and you're going to be right in the thick of it. Go well.
Thanks, mate.
Andrew Neil is still here, ladies and gentlemen. Although I don't think he's fallen asleep. I hope we've kept him engaged and interested in what we're yabbering on about here. Neely, some final thoughts from you before we sign off?
Here until the end, Zach. Mate, what a great night of racing. Bees at Alton Park. Porsche Cup at Long Beach. Incredible racing for the night.
Absolutely, and plenty more where that came from for you as well. But before that, let's tick some boxes and acknowledge some people. Adam Lavis will crunch the points for you tomorrow. We'll have an update as soon as we get on air next Thursday night. It's not possible without the great people that make it possible to do what we do here on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, our ongoing, valued, dedicated, loyal partners, supporters and sponsors. They include Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com, and Flash Graphics. One of our all-time Hall of Fame club members, the great Pete Matson, was chiming in earlier. You saw him commenting there that he was in Orlando, half his luck, and heading off to Daytona. Hope you enjoy that, mate. We look forward to catching up with you when you're back in the rig at some point. I know I've still got a message to reply to you with regards to as well, and I'll do that in due course, as I said earlier, openly and honestly, admitting to being completely and utterly useless when it comes to replying to messages in the Discord inbox here. That might be something on the to-do list for the weekend, although that being said, we will go out and pay our respects on Saturday, one of the more sacred days on the schedule. There's a lot of conjecture around at the moment with regards to it being a long weekend in some parts and not others. As far as I'm concerned, and I said it on social media earlier in the day, I've ruffled some feathers on social media today because there was an incident at one of the Victorian circuits that I shared and had an opinion on, and everyone in the motorsport universe has decided to come out from under the woodwork.
It's not like you, Zach.
No, it's not like me at all. Not at all. I'm usually very mild-mannered and tame. But anyway, so on the back of that, I then went and talked about the other contentious issue of the week, that being Anzac Day. Of course, 4 states and 1 territory don't observe a public holiday on Monday. The other 3 do. As far as I'm concerned, it is a national day. The 25th is the day that we observe it, we recognise, we commemorate, we reflect, we pay homage to all the Anzacs with the dawn services, the marches, and all the other ceremonies that take place. It is one of the more poignant days on the schedule, one of the more spine-tingling days on our calendar each and every year. If you can get out and, of course, pay your respects at a dawn service or at a parade or a march, whatever's going on in your area, please do so, and lest we forget. I want to acknowledge on all of that if we do go down the path of following in New South Wales footsteps and having a public holiday observance going forward on the Monday, whenever it falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, it needs to be a blanket approach, one in all in across the country. There needs, because at the end of the day, it is a national holiday. It's not a state public holiday. It's a national holiday. These states going willy-nilly with their observances thereof, and whether it's a public holiday or not after the fact, or whether there's an additional public holiday to constitute the fact that it's on a weekend. Blanket approach. There needs to be some sort of continuity on that to save confusion and also save the bloody politicking and debating that's going on regarding it. At the moment, I can see points to both sides of the argument. Doesn't faze me either way, as long as we do the same thing across the board. But then again, as we've already seen with things like daylight saving and COVID, getting all jurisdictions to find some sort of common ground is near on impossible. But yes, we're obviously very thankful for the sacrifice made by the fallen, and we are, of course, indebted to those that currently serve in the forces here for this great country of ours, and we'll be thinking of you and raising a glass to you on Saturday. There'll be plenty of great sport to enjoy in the afternoon, but obviously that is well and truly second and after we pay our respects in the early part of the day. Merch.tgsrci.com is where you go for all your GSRC related paraphernalia and merchandise. Have a look at that. The shirts, the bucket hat, the jumper, the singlet, the stubby cooler, the bottle opener. Plenty of range, plenty of choice. Get amongst it at the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com is where you go for your GSRC merch. Not too late to grab mum something for Mother's Day. I grabbed her a shirt last week. We're at the concert and she was like, I haven't got a James Rain shirt. I was like, righto, happy Mother's Day. There you go, done. Saved me postage and handling, so I wasn't complaining. Now, as far as what's coming up here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned, let's have a look at what comes your way. Broadcast to be confirmed. We'll see. I don't know who's available, who's around tomorrow. I can be, if I haven't given myself food poisoning with the dinner that I had earlier in the evening. That's a long story. 105 minutes, 300 kilometres. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for all the action from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez multi-class racing back to the platforms of the GSRC. And whether there's a broadcast or not, we'll advise tomorrow, I'm sure. As far as the rest of it's concerned, let's remind you that tomorrow night, should we be on air, you'll see the wheel spin live. If not, it'll happen behind closed doors and be announced after the fact via our Discord channels. There'll be a Friday night wheel spin to determine the car of choice for Mountain Men on Saturday night, 32 laps of Bathurst. Now, I believe that's still 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because it is now 3 time zones, not 5. I just want to verify that. Yes, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's half an hour earlier than what's on your screen there, folks. But that's because we go 8:30 during the daylight saving period and then 8 p.m. during the non-daylight saving period. So 8 p.m., make a note of that. 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 o'clock in New Zealand. Mountain Men, 32 laps of Mount Panorama on Anzac Day. Week 3 competition gets underway for you Monday night. Again, end of a long weekend in New South Wales, the ACT and WA, and the end of a working day and a school day everywhere else. They've only just gone back to school and have another day off. I don't make sense of it. Wings and Slicks, Formula 3 from the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. That is 30 minutes, the journey there, and 7:25 will be on air for a 7:30 race start Eastern Standard Time at 8:30 Eastern from the Fuji International Speedway, the third round. And the second of the 60-minute races in the Waste Options GT3 Championship campaign. We'll bring you the pro split on that occasion before we move off into sprint racing for rounds 4 and 5. Looking forward to that. Committee's Choice is, of course, our Tuesday night offering. The NASCAR trucks from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 2-race program there for you, 20 minutes and 40 minutes. The server opens at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The racing, of course, kicks in after that. Wednesday night, wait and see. Who knows? We might have to do a catch-up broadcast for this one. I'm available. It's just depending upon whether or not a director and producer is available as to whether or not we'll be with you live. But the Long Beach Street Circuit is again the venue. So only a 6-day turnaround between trips to Long Beach. 2 sprint races, the journey for the Toyota 86s. 2 sprint races, the journey for the supercars, and all Wednesday night sprint night tin top style from California. Street bash on Wednesday night motorsport next week. The merch.tgsrci.com Toyota 86 challenge into the Trophy AI supercars, and we look forward to bringing you all the action there. Thursday night, our last appointment for April will take us to Summit Point. Yes, Summit Point Raceway for some extraordinarily tight, close, exhilarating Formula V racing from 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. 3 races on the schedule there, as is par for the course across the entire season for Formula V. If only we could make a 4-race program, we probably would for the grand finale, just for something different. But no, again, we're working within the limitations presented by the race formats that iRacing offer up for us. Porsche Cup racing follows from the Red Bull Ring. We've detailed that already. 8:40 Eastern Standard Time. Our coverage will be from the Elite Split. The race kickoff is 8:45, and we're off to the Styrian Hills in Austria, and we're looking forward to that. Very nicely done tonight. Just recapping, the Swans got the job done over the Bulldogs in the AFL. Swans 126-60 over the Bulldogs, 66 points the margin there. 33-14, the West Tigers over the Canberra Raiders in Thursday night NRL in Campbelltown. And, of course, as I said earlier, the IPL comes up at midnight on Fox Sports and KO around Australia. That's it from us. We're done. We might see you tomorrow night. We might not. If not, as I said earlier, our thoughts with everyone connected to past, present and future members of the armed forces this Anzac Day long weekend. On behalf of Matt Schmidtke, Andrew Neal, the entire broadcast commentary and production team here, a massive night of racing, exhilarating entertainment from first until last. I think we had, with the exception of Paul Wood, we had different winners across the board. Woodsy was the only double-up winner of the night in the Porsche Open split, but you saw 5 races on broadcast, won by 5 different drivers. Variety's the spice of life. We love sharing the spoils on a Thursday here on the platforms of the GSRC. We hope you're enjoying all the action across the board as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Of course, Woodsy, actually, no, you're right. Chapo got a win in Formula V as well. So, yeah, no, thank you, Chapo. I'm glad you picked me up on that. So, yes, 4 different winners in 5 races, although, yes, Chapo getting a double up in 2 different categories. So there's your point of difference there. But, yes, we do love sharing the love. Plenty of different winners sharing in the spoils so far on a Thursday night. 4 different winners so far in Formula V, 3 different winners so far in both the Porsche splits. Bodes well for the balance of the remaining 8 weeks of the campaign. From all the broadcast commentary and production team here, we look forward to your company next time. And in the event that we're not with you tomorrow night, as I said, all our thoughts revolve around Anzac Day on Saturday, lest we forget.